Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an exciting 8v8 on Sulphur Springs. Leading the red team, we have MVP playing as Armada, and on the blue team, we have Rage playing as Cortex. Let's see which of these two commanders can lead their teams to victory. Sulphur Springs is an interesting map because it pits players at increasingly lengthy lanes, starting with the yellow player and the light green player in the closest spots. These two are going to be having quite the fight from the get-go. And then on our most outside lanes, we have the water lanes. We will see just how impactful they can be, or whether the game will be over before they even get rolling. A lot of metal in these lanes, and a lot of metal around the map. So map control is going to be vital. This is a community-submitted replay, and we would like to thank everyone who does submit these to us, and we do our best to cast them. Having a quick look around the map, we have a lot of geo spots. We have highly contested 3.2 metal spots across the middle of the map. We have large groupings of 1.8 metals, and it looks like... And across in the sea lane, we have up to 17 metals if you control that island, and 2 geos, so power and metal on this map should go absolutely crazy. We have a naval player starting off with a bot lab. That is not the usual start, and it looks like his team is letting him know that he's got to get into Navy, though instead he's building a second bot lab. Looks like he might be a little bit on the newer side. If you look at the OS ratings, we've got 42 to 14 on the red side and 37 to 10 on the blue side. So we've got a mix of very experienced players and very new players. The chevrons are more indicative of new players, but the OS is indicative of skill. And yes, I have stopped calling it Mastery Rank. For those Warframe players out there, you'll understand why I do. Jumping down, we actually see something pretty interesting going on for the blue side. The green player, rather than building his own lab, is building build turrets next to purple's lab in order to boost those out. If you use your own build turrets on someone else's labs, those build turrets consume your own resources, which is a very, very strong way to help boost out someone else's economy. So we'll see whether this pays off. But moving across to the other players, we have fairly standard air in both of the air positions, and it looks like, as predicted, this close lane is starting to get that first set of combat. We've got a comm right up front, though a couple of grunts should be easy for it to deal with. One tried to sneak around the back, but no dice there. We have scouting forces moving around. We've got some rovers heading into the back. We'll see how much damage those can do. They've managed to bypass one of the pawns, but another one has cleaned them up. This one, faster than a pawn, should be able to work its way around, at least to some extent, and it has. It is closing off those solars, which makes them harder to damage, but also makes them unable to produce energy. So that rover, even though it hasn't done any metal damage, it's certainly done a little bit of energy damage. Could make a difference, though it doesn't quite look like it at this stage. Jumping up a little bit to the next closest lane, we have the face-off of pawns, and it looks like the purple player is planning on getting several LLTs up the front to try and hold this position. The rocket bots in the back, nice to get that chip damage on, and the pawns moving around a lot to protect. The pink comm not currently doing any stationary for a second, but he's back to work, though these pawns taking damage from standing still. Got to try and keep those spread out and moving to stop the long range from dealing with it. But we have a Whistler coming up from orange. These Whistlers will continue to chip away, but jumping down to the lower side, we have a comm massively overextending into the light green base. Does good damage, but he is now isolated as his backup pawns are no longer there. This is very much so an opportunity for light green to take the comm. He is not willing to throw his pawns in, knowing that he can outrange with the thugs. So if he has good thug micro, he might be able to take out the comm. Yellow deciding not to pull the comm back, just trying to dodge those shots. Looks like he's heading in towards the base. He might be going for a sacrifice play if he can take out the lab and take out most of green. that could be a big problem. Trying to get a bit of a cloak in, and players sending him energy to do it. though that cloak not overly lasting, and the comm does detonate without doing severe damage. It does take out some of the pawns, but that is not going to be quite enough to offset that 1250 metal that has just been donated to the green team. However, on the other side, green has done the exact same thing and pushed his comm into the yellow base. And it looks like we're going to get another comm down. Nope, yep, that's another comm down. Jumping over, the pink player has managed to get bombers into the back lines. We have no response from the blue air player yet. He's being pinged to do something, but at the moment he only has constructors. He does have a single fighter which could be used, but these bombers currently have absolute free reign. They've just taken out a mechs and several wind. These definitely some very valuable bombers. Units being sent back to deal with them. Pawns not the best at shooting at them. In fact, they have not succeeded in shooting at them at all. And that is the dark green player's energy and metal economy in tatters. And the air player for the blue side still has not reacted. In fact, this has gone badly enough that one of the players has dropped out. The green player has dropped out and now been taken by purple. What a great little air push, and it looks like there's going to be even more damage done. Those bombs going off, and that is another airfield down. Still no reaction out of the air player on the blue side, and these bombers are coming down on purple's economy again. Will this kamikaze bomber take more out? Let's have a look. It gets one more wind. What a good little raid. Looking over towards the middle, we have these whistlers. They are constantly chipping away. They've managed to turn the tides here. Purple having to send some of his units back, now defending on two fronts because he's taken over another commander. These whistlers just going to keep chipping away at that commander. Looking elsewhere on the map right now, the blue air player that did not defend has just sent his own air raid in. He's going for the yellow commander. Unfortunately, these bombers have missed every single bomb. That is a slightly off-kilter placement. They're now going for the Nettles, but the pink air player has managed to intercept. So very little has been achieved in that push, which is unfortunate. The losses done by the red team with air have been substantial, but the blue team was not able to counter that. And now we see yellow pushing in on the bottom side of the map. Without the commander, with the support of the orange comm, and all of the damage that's been done to the back line, it looks like we definitely have a push strong enough to take on the bottom half of the map. It looks like the bottom half is swinging well and truly in favor of the red team. As we probably saw the flash just over in the corner, these whistlers finally did their damage and took out the comm in the middle, which is now being reclaimed by the pink player. Lots of pawns here to try and push this back. And pawns, if they had actually pushed forward, quite strong against whistlers, but there are plenty of aggravators that are preventing this, and the yellow push continues through while the orange player manages to eat all the metal over here. So a great little showing from the red side team. We're getting a resign vote from the blue team, but they're not willing to give up. If you look at the top side, blue is heavily winning in Navy, and we have another air raid going on in the middle. This time bombs are much more on target, but the comm walks out of the way, and these were evidently set to attack a ground target, which means that they have missed. Coming back and launching on the same spot again. A couple hitting the Janus, but that is just bad positioning by the yellow player, and the fighters' quick response coming in, taking out that air raid again. Some combat up in the top side, but this is mostly a stalemate. Jumping back down to the bottom, the yellow player has come around behind the purple player. Even though the purple player had the forces to hold on the front line, his base would have been completely destroyed by yellow had he not pulled back. Pawns, typically not so good in a 1v1 against thugs, but when you have this many of them, the DPS, absolutely fantastic, pushes those thugs back. Lots of losses, but pawns are significantly cheaper than those thugs. But unfortunately, this is giving the rest of the team the opportunity to move on up. We see the red player, MVP Pete, is jumping on up with his comm. Looks like he might be getting some additional... It looks like he's getting himself into the fight and supporting the pink team. This looks like it may be a clean sweep from the bottom side out of the red team, converging all of their forces onto that one point and pushing on through. Looks like we've had a naval engagement up in the top side. Blue managing to push through several of the battleships of the top player, of the yellow player, with much lighter ships. These ships great DPS, so if you outnumber and surround, you can get a very good engagement. Com getting torpedoed by the destroyer, and we have units in the back of the base. The pink player trying to help, but unfortunately too late getting the sea lab down. So unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be a victory for the blue side in the ocean. The question is, can they convert that into anything? Com goes down as well from that one battleship. Those torpedoes very, very strong. Looks like we had another air raid trying to come in, but pink very, very active on those fighters and able to take it out. Down here, up in the top side, we have the blue navy withdrawing. Unfortunately, not completely able to win the sea, but massive dominance. In the middle of the map, lots of combat, but again, a bit of a stalemate. It is the bottom side of the map that has really been pushing up. We've eliminated the purple player, though he's taken another player's eco, and we have eliminated the green player. Looks like another player has just dropped out. Blue's taking as much of it as they can, but this push looks to be unstoppable. We're getting another resign vote out of the blue team. Some definite frustration over the air player, and we have the red team being very supportive of their navy. Even though he wasn't able to win, they are happy with him not completely falling, and that has given them the time to push up in the bottom part of the map. We just see all of these whistlers and stouts backed up by the thugs pushing on through. Very, very strong. If we look at the mini-map, we have units streaming across the map. And there is nothing in between these units and the blue team, which means that this is certainly fallen into a victory based on the momentum gathered by the bottom half of the red team, particularly the yellow player and orange player working together to support the pink player and allowing them to sweep the bottom side. Very, very strong. And similarly, with all of this extra fighting going on down the bottom, blue did not have the forces to stop the top half of the map from rolling on through, so this is turning into quite the struggle for the blue side team, despite how well their navy did. Unfortunately, there is no winning from a position like this. The air player was unable to counter the air from the pink player and was unable to get successful bombing runs through, and that really did tip the balance. And we should see the end of the game reasonably soon, as I believe... Oh no, there's still quite a few commanders left, but that is the resignation, it looks like. Yep, all buildings destroyed. So that is a victory for the red team. Well done, guys, and thank you very much to MV Pete, who submitted this replay. Wanted to save that one for the end, because otherwise you probably would have guessed who won that one. Let's have a quick look at the statistics. So, for damage dealt, we can see that the purple player did a fantastic job defending, and the yellow player did a fantastic job on offense. Jumping over to metal produced, we had the highest metal produced for the C and for the blue player, followed shortly by the maroon player. And having a quick look at energy produced, similar sort of story with the blue team, with blue definitely winning in energy, but as you can see from pink, red, and orange, definitely making up for the deficit of one very powerful eco player. Quick jump over to the statistics. Damage dealt, red player, as you'd expect, being the winning side, definitely had the advantage there. And looking at the energy produced and metal and metal produced definitely an advantage of the red team, so they managed to grab that advantage early on and roll with it. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you've got any feedback for me, drop it down in the comments, and if you've got any replays or just want to play games with us, jump on over into our Discord, links in the description. Thanks everyone for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.